A plant-based whole food diet can be a very good environmental choice, and it is a very good environmental choice. In my most recent book, called Whole Foods to Thrive, about 2/3 of the book is devoted to recipes. The other third is more of a food issues book. So I write about the resources used to produce food, and those resources are arable land, water, fossil fuel, and then the emissions created from all that. So my goal is, with this whole thing, is to try and get the most nutrition while expending the least amount of each natural resource. So I developed something called the nutrient to resource ratio, which takes into consideration the amount of resources used and the amount of nutrition gained, and it merges those. So when you eat in accordance with this, you will be obviously helping the environment because you'll use less of each natural resource, and you'll be helping yourself because you'll be getting more nutrition. So the reason I did that was I found that a lot of health experts kind of neglected the environmental aspects of it, which of course, if we don't have a healthy planet, how do we have it produce healthy food? And then on the other side, a lot of environmental advocates kind of neglected the nutritional component and looked only at trying to get more calories and more volume of food out of the land, as opposed to nutrient density, which I found to be a bit of a blind spot. So merging the two was my way of trying to fix both those things with just one simple ratio, so the nutrient to resource ratio. So I make suggestions in the book as to how to eat that way. The foods with the lowest nutrient to resource ratio are, of course, foods that take a lot of energy to produce and a lot of land, water, fossil fuel, create a lot of emissions. So factory farming, of course, is a huge one. You know, if you factory farm factory farm beef takes more resources than anything else to produce, and it's very low in micronutrients, so therefore it's not nutrient dense. So you're spending a lot of resources, a lot of each natural resource, and you're getting very little in nutritional return. So factory farm beef is at the bottom, but things like factory farm chicken is not really that much higher up, and really no meat is going to be that high naturally when you think about it. Obviously you have to grow food to feed to these animals, and then a lot of it is burned by the animal and lost in heat and lost in digestive energy. So there's an inherent loss there anytime you feed food to an animal and then eat the animal. So it makes a lot more sense efficiently just to eat the food that you've grown instead of passing it through the animal. So it's really just a mathematical way of saying plant-based whole foods make a lot of sense. Among the highest ones, things like kale, for example, and hemp are very high in nutrition and grow very easily with next to no herbicides and pesticides on very little land, and they grow very quickly too. So that would be an example of a high nutrient to resource ratio food.